What if the rest of the NBA woke up tomorrow and realized the Lakers just found an opening nobody else saw coming? What if the quietest storyline of the week becomes the loudest shock of October? And what if that shock is the one move that rebalances the West without spending a single unprotected first? Lakers family, this is happening fast, behind closed doors. And the whispers are getting louder. A young two-way guard with real upside sits in a contract standoff in the East. And that standoff just cracked the door the Lakers have been pushing on for months. You feel it too, right? The urgency, the timing, the way the market suddenly softened for the exact profile we begged for next to Austin, LeBron, and a D. Before we keep going, if you live and breathe purple and gold with us every day, tap subscribe and drop a like right now because we're going all season long no fluff. No filler, straight Lakers talk from a fan who wants the parade back on Figueroa done. Let's go, because this rumor isn't just noise. It's leverage, and leverage is where smart teams strike first. Here's the pulse. There's a gap, call it money. Roll years, pride between a rising two-way guard and his current front office out east. And the gap is big enough that people around the league are framing sign-and-trade flowcharts like it's mid-July all over again. That's when the Lakers' patience, the boredom of a quiet summer, turns into advantage. You know the profile by heart, a guard who can defend at the point of attack, chase shooters over screens without dying on contact, hold his stance on an island, and still space the floor on the other end. The kind of player who lets Austin be Austin as a secondary creator instead of forcing Austin to absorb every tough guard assignment on the planet. If the relationship in Philly really is at an impasse, that's not just their problem, it's our opening. Because sign-and-trade season never truly ends when October money meets. October reality. Let me be super clear because I respect this fan base's IQ. I'm not saying the deal is done. I'm saying the conditions that make deals happen are now present. The stalemate gives the player options, the team incentive, and a third party us a chance to step in with something sensible that protects our future and improves the now. Think role players with clean money. Think pick swaps instead of first. Think guard-wing balance that keeps our rotation tall without turning it into a traffic jam. That's the frame the front office loves, by the way, optionality. Keep the door open to more moves. Keep the core intact. Keep contracts tradable instead of toxic. Keep the defense quicker at the point of attack so you don't ask Anthony Davis to be fire extinguisher and arson investigator on the same possession. Let's talk fit, because that's the part that makes this feel real. In J.J. Redick's system, yes, this is now a real system. With structure and vocabulary and timing weak side spacing is currency. A guard who can lift from the corner into a slot, accept a swing, attack a bent close out, and keep the action alive with a touch pass or a one dribble. Pull-up is worth more here than in a static offense where he's just parked. Picture it. Pistol action on the right side with Austin handling. AD ghosting into the handoff to draw two. LeBron lurking as the backside hammer passer. And our target guard lifting out of the weak side corner into the wing pocket. That's a catch-and-shoot three, or a single bounce into the elbow, or a dump to a D if the low man tags too hard. It's small, it's simple, but it turns good spacing into easy points. And it keeps us out of the late clock junk we lived in far too often last season. The defense is where this gets spicy. You remember the pain points. Guards turning the corner. Late switches forcing Rui to check a jitterbug at 28 feet. AD chasing lob threats while also erasing corner shooters like it's 5-on-6. A genuine on-ball pest who can navigate a double drag. Who can fight over a screen without forcing the bid to show at the level on every possession. Who can stun at the nail and recover. Those aren't just highlights. Those are possessions where a D can camp closer to the restricted area and do what he does better than anyone alive. Erase layups and scare decisions. Add in the fact that our target guard has shown he can handle a usage spike without losing his legs on defense. And you're suddenly cooking with something that holds up in May, not just October. Let's address the money, because contracts drive trades as much as talent. The question on everyone's whiteboard reads the same. What's the number? And what does that number mean for us 1 year from now if we need to pivot? The fear with paying a young guard off a short sample is that you're buying a mirage. The hope is that you're buying early on a curve that climbs. That's why you structure with team flexibility bonuses for team success. Triggers that protect you if the role shrinks. Years that don't chain your hands behind your back at the next deadline. Meanwhile, the outgoing money has to keep our locker room culture stable. You know the names that get tossed around on Twitter. Solid veterans with playoff equity and contracts that make the math work. I don't toss those names lightly because fans build attachments, and I get it. But remember the bigger picture. If the net result is a cleaner playoff rotation, you swallow the temporary pain dot. And yes, there's the elephant in the room. Whenever a guard arrives, someone asks, is this the first step to moving Austin down the road? I'm not there. Austin's value to this team isn't just points. It's connective tissue, late game calm, a playbook in shoes. What a second two-way guard does is lower the physical tax on Austin's season and sharpen the choices in closing lineups. That's all. Could the future change if a monster opportunity drops in February? In this league, anything can. But you don't gamble away a sure thing just to chase theoretical upside while LeBron and AD are still writing chapters that matter. There's also the size piece. If you ship out a forward, you better get back either equivalent size or equivalent impact. The worst outcome is erasing our one advantage link across the wings just to add another 6'4" body for the sake of doing something. That's why draft capital framed as swaps is attractive. You maintain the long runway while letting the other team save face. They don't go home empty-handed, and you don't torch the future to chase a rumor. And because the market right now is weird, some teams want cap space next summer, some want picks, some want clean books. Our medium-sized deals actually play nicely in a lot of directions. It's the rare moment where patience can strike fast. Tactically, imagine the lineups. LeBron as the initial advantage creator, Austin as the second action, our target guard toggling between shooter and slasher, Rui giving you that bully wing gravity, a D anchoring everything like a lighthouse. Now look at your bench. You still need one more big who can eat regular season minutes without bleeding points, and one more wing who can throttle up the pace when the half-court sticks. But playoff possessions? Now you can guard waterbug guards without sacrificing shooters, and you can stay home on corners because your first defender isn't dying at the nail. That's the difference between compete and contend. Let's zoom out to the human part. The league hates when the Lakers find undervalued edges because it rewrites what everyone thought the pecking order would be in June. Remember when people rolled their eyes at the KCP deal, then had to admit it was smart? Remember when Caruso's defense became the heartbeat of every run? That's the energy here. You add a guard whose motor is his calling card, whose shot is Klein, whose defense travels, and you drop him into a locker room where LeBron and AD still demand daily seriousness. The city will do the rest. Guys grow up fast in LA if they have the right wiring. Now, risks. If the number creeps too high and the role isn't guaranteed, you can trap yourself. If you misread the sample and pay for a 20-point scorer when what you really need is a 12-point metronome who never blows a coverage, you'll regret it. If you send out the wrong forward and lose size you can't replace, you'll feel it in April when the game shrinks. And if you swing early and the market improves in December, you might wish you'd held your powder. That's why the structure matters more than the headline. This front office has learned those lessons the hard way. Let's talk chemistry with the stars because everything flows from there. LeBron wants players who think the game, who make second reads without being told, who don't waste advantages he creates. AD wants guards who keep the ball out of the middle against elite pick and roll, who respect the backline rules, who are where they're supposed to be, so he can erase the few mistakes instead of the constant ones. Austin wants a partner who understands pace, manipulates angles, and doesn't step on his toes when he's cooking. Our target checks a lot of those boxes. He's not a perfect player, nobody at this price point, is but he fits the ecosystem. On a JJ team, that matters. Picture the first week. Media day quotes. The coach smiling without saying much. The new guy downplaying. The spotlight with the right cliches. And then sprinting through the first closeout of preseason like it's game 5. The bench jumping on a deflection because defense is contagious when it starts at the point of attack. The building getting loud on a second unit run because the pace finally feels sustainable. That's how a quiet move turns loud. Not on Twitter. On the floor. Alternate paths? They're on the board too. If this turns into a bidding war, you pivot to wings who rebound their position and hit corner threes. If a young big becomes available at a same price, you revisit your board because AD's long-term health deserves a second big who can hold the fort without becoming unplayable in the playoffs. If the market drifts to February, you keep the option open by avoiding dead money now. That's the art. Flexibility with purpose, not flexibility with fear. Here's where I land personally. If the number stays responsible and the outgoing package preserves our length, I'm in. I don't move Austin in a deal like this. I try to protect Rui because size matters in May. I lean towards swaps over first, and if a first is demanded, I want protections that reflect reality, not fantasy. I'd also put developmental minutes on a schedule for our young guards so we don't burn them. Let the veteran eat the heavy lift while the kids learn to win possessions, not just win clips. Most of all, I want this front office to keep the main thing the main thing. Build a playoff-proof rotation around LeBron's brain and Ad's dominance. This move, done right, does exactly that. Done wrong, it's another February scramble. Do it right. Lakers family, tell me your read. Do you push chips in now for a defensive guard with rising offense? Or do you wait until December when the standings shake loose and prices normalize? Who would you be willing to include if it means closing the door on the one weakness that's haunted? Use in every tough series, the first line of defense. Drop your frameworks, your must-keeps, your hard nose in the comments. I'll be in there with you, because this channel lives off that back and forth, the smartest fans in the game mapping a way back to Figueroa. And if you're new here, welcome. This season is going to be a ride, and we're going to take it together. One rumor, one adjustment, one win at a time. My opinion? Thread the needle. Go get the two-way guard if the number is sane and the size stays. Protect the core. Trust the system. Bet on defense. Because if the Lakers fix the first step of every possession, the last step in June gets a whole lot closer.